This lecture focuses on the final steps to war in the summer of 1914. Following the assassination of the Archduke, a series of steps took place that propelled Europe into a state of war. The development of the alliance system. The alliance systems of Europe were developed well in advance of 1914. Take a look at the image in this slide. When was the first alliance formed? What does this ultimately reveal about the alliance system? In addition, why was the alliance system so dangerous? The reaction around the world. For many nations around the world, the assassination of the Archduke and his wife seemed distant. In Canada, the assassination was not major news. However, as a result of Canada's close relationship with Britain, Canada eventually became drawn into the war. For European nations, the reaction was quite different. The assassination became an excuse for war. This exposes the dangers of both the alliance system and nationalism. As tensions continued to rise in Europe, nations began to prepare for war. Here's an image of German Kaiser or King Wilhelm inspecting troops and discussing preparations with his generals. Europe reacts. The assassination set off a chain of events. Austria-Hungary was greatly angered and wanted to crush Serbian nationalism. They held Serbia responsible for the death of their Archduke. Germany offered Austria-Hungary a blank check, meaning they would back up Austria-Hungary no matter what. In the meantime, Russia mobilized in support of Serbia. The ultimatum. An ultimatum is defined as a demand to meet certain terms or face consequences. Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia because they felt that Serbia was responsible for the assassination of their Archduke. A summary of the key terms of the ultimatum are as follows. Number 1, put down all nationalist hatred against Austria-Hungary. Number 2, punish all those involved with the assassination. Number 3, allow Austro-Hungarian officials into Serbia to help apprehend the terrorist group, the Black Hand. Serbia's response. Serbia agreed to all but one of the demands. They refused to allow Austro-Hungarian officials into their country to conduct an investigation into the Black Hand. It is considered embarrassing for an independent nation to allow foreign law enforcers into their country. Declaration of War. Vienna, Austria, July 28, 1914. The Austrian government sent a telegram declaring war to the Serbian government. It states the following. The Royal Serbian government, not having answered in a satisfactory manner the note of July 23, 1914, presented by the Austro-Hungarian minister at Belgrade, the imperial and royal government are themselves compelled to see to the safeguarding of their rights and interests, and with this object to have recourse to force of arms. Austria-Hungary consequently considers herself henceforth in a state of war with Serbia, and World War I began. Final steps. As mentioned earlier, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia July 28, 1914. As a result, Russia mobilized as an ally of Serbia. France then mobilized because they were allied with Russia and also worried about Germany. Germany ordered both France and Russia to halt mobilization because they stand directly in between those two countries. Both France and Russia refused. Germany then declared war on Russia on August 1st and then France the next day. Final steps continued. Germany invaded a small neutral country called Belgium and then attacked northern France. This was known as the Schlieffen Plan. Next, Britain, who had promised to always protect Belgium, declared war on Germany. The Schlieffen Plan. Germany planned to quickly invade neutral Belgium and then sweep down into northern France, encircling Paris, forcing a quick end to the war. They would then focus their attention on defeating Russia in the east. The Germans gained considerable territory but were ultimately halted and ended up fighting a war on two fronts, the Western Front against France, Britain, and Belgium, and the Eastern Front against Russia. As the war began, both sides anticipated a traditional war fought on horseback with advancing infantry. The war would be nothing like what they had anticipated. As a result of advances in weaponry, the war would be fought in trenches across northern France and Belgium. Take a moment to analyze the political cartoon. Identify which countries the main characters represent. In addition, what does the cartoon reveal about the alliance system? The images on the previous slides indicate an excitement for war across much of Europe. It was common belief that the enemy would quickly be defeated and troops would be home for Christmas. The assassination of the Archduke triggered the start of World War I, but was not the cause. There were four main causes: militarism, the development of the alliance system, imperialism, and nationalism.